Hangout is live on the air. Hangout on the air is going away later this year for quick streaming. Try YouTube.com webcam. Okay. Hangout on air is going away later. YouTube.com webcam. Okay, sounds good. Hangout on air. Yeah, that's interesting. Hangout on air. I wonder if that's just for Mgtows. Hangout on air. Hangout on air is going away later this year for quick streaming. Try YouTube.com webcam. I guess that's what they're saying. Hangout's going away, and that was the first time. It kind of shocked me when it came up. I got to close it out. It's I could show a screen share of it, and then yeah, let me do that so you can see what I'm seeing. Screen share, boom, share, and there it is right there. Let me scroll up or down. I don't know. No, I can't scroll up anymore, but there it is right there on the top there. It says this Hangout on air is live. Hangout on air is going away later this year, and this little blue dot up here, and that's what it is. I probably should take a screenshot of it and show it to you. I don't know if you can see that. I don't think you can see that. Well, unless I clear plus plus. Let me clear plus or clear down. Clear plus. No, that made it worse. There it is. You can see it now. Okay, so that's what it says, and Hangouts are going away at the end of this year. So I'll stop that and bring up my pretty face again. Other people were talking about it. A lot of people were switching to Zoom. To Zoom, yeah. Hello, Mgtow Warrior. Hello, Was Blind. Hello, everybody. I was just I really wasn't going to make a video today, and I really, but I wanted to stop by and say hello and everything. I was out all week doing research on the low-lying incel. And avoiding the predators or the low-lying incels. The incels are, they get attacked from the ground, and they get attacked from the air and everything. They get attacked from all sides. So that's what I was doing this week, and just kind of observing the incel crowd and everything. And it's always interesting if you're just kind of looking at it kind of objectively and everything and for what it is. But they have a lot of predators, and that's what we're going to talk about a little today, predators. And I think Mgtow kind of know what I'm talking about when I talk about predation and Mgtow and risk and all that stuff, where that would come down to hypergamy, and hypergamy is and gynocentrism and hypergamy is simply resources. The female would choose the male with the best resources. And when you think about that whole thing, in a sort of biological sense, what is predation and looking for resources? I'm looking for food. I'm a predator, and I'm looking for food. I'm making sure I got shelter. I'm not going to let anything get in my way of dying out there in the wilderness. But women, unfortunately, women do this too. Let me get that down. That is really bothering me. That they put a big blue thing right up there, and it says Hangouts are going away. And so predation. What is predation? Predation is actually the last defense of every biological creature. It's escape is the last defense of every biological creature because of predation. And being a Mgtow, we kind of take that view that we're under attack. And today's Father's Day, by the way. Hello, fathers out there. And if you are a father, then if you're a father in those positions, then there's a 90% chance that you're going to know what predation is. And because you will become the resource provider, you will be forced into the resource provider. Humans have developed interesting interesting mechanisms to provide for female predation, and like I said, hypergamy is just women gauging resources and moving up to the next resource or moving over to the next resource. Or if they see a resource, it's not generally moving up all the time. You can move laterally. They can move sideways if they see something else they like better. That's another resource. Or they see something they like. If they see something that catches their eye, or a movement or a direction that they want to go in, a job direction, or a maybe it's not a bigger house, maybe it's just what they want to see in life, and that's hypergamy. And it's not always upward. I often wondered about hypergamy, and I wonder if I have a napkin here. My nose is itching, and I'm sorry about that. It's not always an upward movement. And I noticed this with a lot of people. I've talked to thousands and thousands of Mgtows about their situations and everything. And every time, it wasn't every time some rich dude walked by or some guy with a big house walked by. And sometimes it was just a lateral move. And that's the one that I question about, the instincts of a female, a lateral move that may have been better or may have been worse, but she thought in her mind she was enacting hypergamy in that sense, which is just gathering resources to survive, and gathering resources to survive, whether you're the predator or whether you're the resource. That's what men are, and I'm sorry to say that you're just a resource, man. And as we get into Mgtow, we become very comfortable with that, we okay, that's what we are. We're just a resource, and we have to, ask any one of those Wigtows, and they say it all the time, and it makes the men angry when they say it. They said if you're a broke ass man, don't show up around me. And that's what they're saying. Hypergamy. You are a resource, and if your resources that you've collected aren't good enough, then she's going to move on. And they are crafty little predators, and that's it. And that's the best thing and then we put into the disposable male, and I wanted to talk a little about the American thing right now going on. Are we going to have another war? Can we survive another war? Can we? We're already on 1, 2. Well, we'll be on our 4th front soon if this thing in Venezuela come off. But men, we're considered. We're just considered the pawns. We're just considered the disposable male at that point. And I think a lot of guys are looking up, and they're like, man, I'm just not willing to go fight anymore, because it's become obvious that you're just fighting for the oil wealth of a few billionaires, and fighting for the oil wealth of a few billionaires. I mean, they want to make you feel all nationalistic, like, woo, America, woo, they want you to make, I'm going to go for mega, and it's America and everything, but it's not really. There is no more free market left, and it's basically for the oil wealth of those countries. And I mean, you can see down the line on this thing, and I mean, from Vietnam to Iran to Iraq to Afghanistan to running around in those fields down there in Colombia. It was all about somebody else's wealth, and that's what we have to get used to. And with that, you, the male, becomes a disposable male. You become the pawn. It's like a chess game for the kings and the queens, the totalitarian people, which now are represented by the mega wealthy. You think they care about you if they can, and they want you to feel all nationalistic about that and good about that when you're out like, woo, I'm gonna go fight for America. I can't remember what that lady's name was when when the first war broke out there, the Gulf War, and in Iraq, and she was all like, "Woo, Bush, woo." And then her son got killed, and then she was crying in front of the state house, the Texas State House there. Chris something, I can't remember her name. It's been a long time. And she's like, "My son's dead." And like, yeah, you were all like nationalistic and gung ho. You wanted to send your you wanted just you wanted some other. What did you think? Other people's sons were gonna die? But that's what they think. They all think other people's kids are gonna die, and they just get all the glory. Woo, America. That's a silly thought. That's a silly thought. But for every young man that goes, oh, there's a father like me, all worried, and we know the truth, and the truth is, it's you're being preyed on. You're just a resource to them too. They don't even look at you like you're a human being. A lot like women look at us. We're just a resource. We're just there to fill every single one of their needs. And if those needs aren't met, if you get sick, you become disposable. If you can't do that, you're in between jobs, you become disposable. I've talked to thousands of men. I'm getting ready to start saying I talked to tens of thousands of men over my time in here. And one thing I've come to learn over the years that it's real predation out there, and you are the resource that's that they're looking for, and that's the same as meat, calories. You are just calories. You are just calories for them to chew up and spit out, and that starts from the government right down to females, and that's the way they look at you. I think the government is mainly female, is mainly gynocentric. So hey, a lot of boys out there that'll do the job and believe in that nationalism thing. I've heard a lot about nationalism lately. Nationalism's funny. Someone said, "Ooh, I'm a nationalist." It's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. The Nazis were nationalists too, and Hitler's brown coats were nationalists. I mean, I mean, they weren't capitalist. Well, they may have been capitalist. They weren't. They weren't in democracy. That's for sure. I don't know what you call that thing that they're in, but they were surely nationalists, and they were surely ready to give their body and soul to that thing. But I don't think American men are. I think we're sick of it. I think we've been doing it too long. I think from World War One to World War Two, the Korea, the Vietnam, and little skirmishes all between that. Now going to be our third war, and I think American men are like, hey, don't we get a break in this thing? Can't the world take care of it itself for a few minutes while we have a couple of generations here that don't have to fight? But I don't think that we are the as long as you got the number one military in the world, you get that duty. I suppose I'd hand that off and stop spending it. I'd start spending it in different places, like the welfare of our country. That would be it. But that's the big argument. How can you spend it on the welfare of the country if half the parties, half the people out there are yelling, welfare, welfare, I hate welfare. You want to give it all to the war services? You could go do that, you're paying 50% taxes, and and that'll only get worse. Let me see who's in here. Hello, Eddie. Hello, Fred or D. Hello, was blind. Hello, everybody that's in or coming in. I was just going on, but it is, yeah. It's a world of predation, and you're getting preyed on. How do you get out of that thing? You just avoid the predators. The air predators are up there trying to get you. Them are the unicorns. And then they come from the rhino unicornuses will get you from the ground. Oh, yeah. I really wasn't going to do it. I just really didn't feel like doing any videos or anything this week. I wanted to take a little time off, and noticed I shaved, and it's been miserable here in Ohio. It really has been miserable here in Ohio. And I didn't ask you how my sound was. I think I took a check on that, but let me know how my sound is. I busted my boom the other day. It fell over and then it busted, so I had to make a new boom, but that didn't work. And I took the other one off there and I put this one on there, and that didn't work because I didn't have the right parts. So I now, anytime I touch, anytime I touch the desk, it's going to make a sound because I got it on a mount. So sorry if we get some back feed from that. Some little thumps and things as I type and stuff. Yeah, today we're talking about predation, and we're talking about the best predator, the alpha predator on the world in the world. That's the female. See, we thought we were the apex predator, the males. Yeah, right. They just lie to us and tell us that, yeah, you guys are pretty groovy. Go get something and bring it home. Some bitch. But I've been out. I've been out watching the incels all week. They're an interesting group. There's a new king of the incels. Yeah, they got a new king, and Eli was arguing with JB, and Eli was arguing with Jamie, and Eli's this close to being a Mgtow. One of these days, he's just gonna go, screw this. I'm just gonna be a Mgtow because it's easier than dealing with the incels and the TFLers. Yeah, the dreaded Black Widow Freddy. Yeah. Yeah, Eli's this close. I made a promise to everybody that I was going to convert Eli to a Mgtow, and I've been failing at those dirties. But I think it's going to happen naturally. He's just going to be like, I'm a Mgtow, and I'm I don't know what kind of Mgtow. He got to start at level 1, but that's an interesting thing to watch over there. The incel and the TFL and Steve Hoka. He posted an Alex Brown. I was really kind of. He posted an Alex Brown video from 2015 or so. Yeah, I think it was 2015 or 2006. Yeah, it was 2015, and that was a year before Alex had succumbed to his urges and made plans to rape a little girl in Bretham Park. I can't remember which park that was. It was in the paper and everything. I was going to put that video back up since Steve was questioning my honesty on that, on the Alex Brown thing. And I says, no, that's true. It's real. It happened. But he didn't realize that the video he pulled up was a year before that happened. And he was already just nipping at messengers to tails about that, and nipping on Messenger's tail because everybody was nipping on Messenger's tail at that time because he said a bad word. Yeah, you went straight monk mode. Yeah, at a certain point in here, you just got to go straight monk mode and put all that away because man, they come at you in so many ways. I mean, it's every single way. You can't even take a chance anymore because you're going to get hit, and that's it. And getting hit nowadays in this economy, when most people can't afford a $400 bill in America, which is pathetic, is really pathetic. Most people can't afford a $400 doctor bill and that's what they're saying now. I don't know about the validity of that. I'd have to look into it, but Coca-Cola Light. I've been trying to keep off my feet lately. That's why I'm trying to diet a little and reduce my carbs. Reducing my carbs is harder than I thought it would be. It wasn't just like reducing the sugar. I reduced all the sugar except in my coffee because I refuse to I refuse to give up anything about my coffee. It's got to have cream and sugar in there, and it's got to be the brown sugar, the Florida sugar, and it's got to have the best cream. And because I drink best coffee, and that's it. And I refuse to give up anything on that. If I have to give up it, I'll just stop eating before I stop drinking coffee. I'll just make coffee my diet. They must have based them stats off my credit report. Yeah, yeah, they must look at my credit report. I can actually afford a little bit more than that. I just paid an emergency bill for Dougie for like 1,500, but that hurt. it hurt. And most of us, a $1,500 bill is going to hurt you. And I was watching the incels, and I was watching the young kids this week, and like I was saying, and they're mainly young boys that have an anchoring for that female. They want to have that dating experience, and that story about how badly they got screwed over. Oh man, you don't have to walk too far in here and into Mgtow to hear some stories that might want to make you sway away from that thing, but they want to go into that, and that was funny. I was trying to get a group dynamics look at incel and what it was and everything, and it's still so hard to. It's still really hard to pin it down to anything, and so I went over and I looked at the TLFLers and the Steves and the Gemma cracks me up. He hates me so bad. He says I'm 88 years old. I was like, oh man, that's just ageism. I'm not 88 years old. But with like I say, with time, everybody's gonna every single person in the world's gonna go through is gonna go through disability, because that comes with age. So so look forward to that. And that doesn't discriminate. That's what John Locke said, and I think he's right about that. That was one of the first books I ever read. I can't remember which book that was. Treatise on something. John Locke's treatise on the economy. So you noticed I shaved this week. I got so bored sitting around because my knee was so swollen and everything. I was like bored. I was just standing in front of that mirror going, "What can I do next?" And it was like cut my hair or shave, and I was like, "I'm gonna shave." And then I looked at myself and went, "Damn, shouldn't have done that." But it was hot. It's been getting hot, so I don't want to go through the whole summer with the itchy feeling on my face, and I don't really care anymore what anybody thinks. Too old for that, and too grumpy. And but the incels were interesting this week, and I was watching the predation going on. They don't see it. They really don't. They think though they still think that they're not a resource. And then when they hear it, when they hear it from a female, go, hey, I ain't dating no broke ass motherfucker. They'll say it straight out. A lot of those girls will just say that straight out, and they says you got to have something to bring to the table, like we say, and then we say, yeah, you better have something to bring to the table too. And then we get into that what you bring into the table argument, and that's a really stupid argument for a Mgtow even to go down. But hey, I was watching them, and they were doing a great job arguing that out between them. That's just like, why don't you two just get a room, Just kind of work that out, get a room, because that's all I see when those things happen. But yeah, the incels, but that's become very interesting over there. You got the Gemma, and he's the king. He's fighting with Eli, and Eli's fighting with JB, and Eli's about to become a Mgtow because he's just sick of these people. And then you got all the married men, and that would be Joe Buddy and all those guys over there. They're married, and they're trying to defend marriage, and trying to get the incels to believe that they're just go out and grab yourself one of those baby mamas and just take her in, and she'll be the most wonderful thing you ever seen in your life. And they believe them. They believe them, and that's what they always wanted us to believe. Hey, just get one new one. Just go grab yourself another new one and just bring that in and take care of her. And what they're saying is, you're just going to have to be the protector and the provider there, and you're going to have to provide because she knows what she wants, and that's resources. And that thing starts getting a little creepy in there because you become meat or like flour or some kind of some kind of commodity. That's what men are. Men are commodities, and we're a disposable commodity. And when I was doing linguistics for the army, logistics, and we had commodities, and there was disposable commodities and things that you would throw out, and things that you couldn't throw out, like a Jeep. You couldn't throw out a Jeep, so you had it was or a Jeep part until the Jeep part went into the red, and then it came out and you said, I got a Jeep part that we fixed and I'm throwing this out, so I need a replacement for it. But I didn't realize that the men were, I didn't the soldiers were actually on the disposable side of those commodities. Yeah, and it was called non-expendable and expendable, and males are the soldiers are expendable. I didn't realize that a Jeep was more had more value than a soldier, or in this case, women in the military and the government. They all think a car has more value than a male, and that's the way you should think about it. What else has more value to the predators out there, the government and the females and everybody that wants to take advantage of your back for resources, and what else is what's more valuable than you? Where's that line at? And I think that's a great line where you can measure these things. What's more valuable than you? Yeah, it becomes pretty. My mom for two of my sisters today. Let me show that, and then a night sex. It's funny what they. I have a moderator. I don't have a moderator. That's because YouTube's my moderator. YouTube's going to decide what comments go up and what comments, and then I have to approve them or just let them go if they're that bad. But it's funny what they think is it's not right speech anymore. And we're going to find out a lot about not right speech. I was taking a deep look into. I was what was that? I was taking a deep look in this week into what YouTube is now, and let me see what the actual lingo on that is, and I was taking a really deep look into. Oh, damn it! I couldn't get back to my page real quick, so I have to get the keywords so I can talk about it. And I forgot since I wasn't really motivated today. Channel community. What did I write there? Yeah, deplatforming is no platforming. What is deplatforming? I was asking myself that question because nobody really seems to know what a deplatforming is, and that's what they're doing. What Google's doing is they're reducing space. They don't want to spend like this. They're getting rid of these. You can't do these, and then you'll have to do. What I'll have to do is sit here and pre-record it and pretend like or whatever they're going to give us. But they're just reducing space. There's too many people making videos, and there's not enough space for us all. So they start deplatforming people. First, they're going to get rid of the horrible people, and then they're going to get rid of. And then they're gonna, but it's all for one reason. It's all because money runs everything, and whether the deplatforming, they don't care whether the deplatforming comes from, and I think a lot of people see this, and that brings on the male instinct to knock off your the male instinct to knock off the male that's competing with you. And this happens with groups, organizations, and they'll have the goal of shutting down controversial what they believe is controversial speakers, and she'll call them bad actors. And you got to wonder when she did her bad actor speech there. That was Susan Wojcicki, and she runs YouTube and everything. But what they're really doing is they're trying to save some money, and they've been sued by the EU. And Google got sued, and right after Google got sued by the EU, You've seen someone's going to have to pay for that. Who do you think's going to have to pay for that? Well, me and you. That's who's going to have to pay for that. And how are they going to achieve that? Well, they're going to achieve that through deplatforming. And deplatforming will start with first the Nazi groups, and then they got rid of the Nazis, and then they got rid of they're getting rid of the alt-righters and anybody that talks about conspiracy theories. They're getting conspiracy speakers and bad actors like Alex Jones and everything, and then there's rolling down to each. They just demonetize you, and they're saying, "Well, we're not willing to share the revenues with anybody but the corporate people, and the corporate people don't want to share the revenues." And that's where, and when you look at who the corporations are, that's the news media. So we've seen this uptake lately, and I've seen it, and you've seen it, the uptake lately, and the Fox News, the people that back the Fox News, and the people that back CNN, and the people that back Russia Today, and stuff like that. You have RTT, and that would be, who is that creep over there at RTT? What's his name? Jimmy Dore, and who else is? Oh, there's some really kind of groovy. He's an enthusiastic salesman. He's a young guy, the RTT, and then you got the Democrats over there like Tom Hartman, but it's all they all go through networks, and these networks, and I can't remember what the networks are, and the Sam Cedars and the Michael Brooks, and then all that, and on the other side you have people that are all networked up, and that's the people they want to keep on. It's not. It's no longer they're cutting costs. They got to pay for that. I forget how $2 billion or something that I can't remember what the EU sued them for, but someone's going to pay for that. And if you thought it wasn't going to be you, sorry. That's what it's all about. And I often, after a while, it was. Let me approve that message from Freder. They were looking themselves content creators advertised because they were doing the big shit on the internet. Yeah, they're definitely a female in charge. Yeah. So it's they're just going to cut all the little, in the advertisers. They're not going to give. They don't want to give the money to it, but the advertisers are the big news, the big cable groups, the big and from them you got 1,000 of these little news outlets and everything. And what will be that point? I was wondering what the point of what they're worth too. And we're talking about predation. So you have to have 300,000 viewers, or you have to be backed by how much money that your corporation pays into their advertising fees, or will it just be advertising fees? If you want to stay on YouTube, you just pay the ad fees, and then guys like Sadman that do pay for the ad fees. If you want to know who pays the ad fees, just go type in Mgtow, and then you'll see a few guys up there, and then there's a break, and then you'll start getting a few more. The people above the 3 or 4 that are up there, them are the pens that are paying the YouTube advertising, and it's easy to see who they are. But I don't know if that'll be the break point. And I don't even know if at a certain point I'm going to be able to stay around here. So I have been looking into the BitChute, but even BitChute it's a little too overrun with the Nazis, and and I don't want to be associated with the alt-right, the Milo alt-right. That's just offensive to me. And so it'll be interesting to see what develops over on BitChute. That's when Sandman says he's going on. A lot of guys are moving over to BitChute. So I'll see what goes there. And I know Australia can't get in on that yet. They got to do some fancy way of doing it. Hello, Benjamin. Very Benjamin life. I think it's disappointing to see Mgtow getting pushed off of YouTube. Yeah, I think it is disappointing, because we are the same people that built YouTube. I mean, the gender dynamics and the anti-feminist and the feminist and the arguments and the people that just want to share their opinion about 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 the world are the people that built YouTube, and that's pretty much what the advertisers were advertising at, the me's and the you's, you know. Um, but it's not about that anymore. It's not. But that's what how they figured out with, you know, back in the day we had public TV, and when you turned on your TV, it was free because there was advertisers on there. And then if you think about what's happening in YouTube, they started off with that kind of program. Everybody you just put it on and you turn on your TV and it was free. But you pretty soon YouTube won't be free. They're going to want to do the same thing the cable companies. They charge you for a cable company price to be on YouTube, and there'll be some cost and everything involved with it. And that'll be okay. I'm not really worried about it. I'm thinking pretty much I'm wrapped up in my men's rights. I had said what I had to say, and I believe what I believe, and that's the people are no longer going to people are no longer going to change my mind about what I believe. But it is a sort of a sneaky deflect platforming that they're doing. They're letting each other in. And what I noticed with this thing is each group out there. So you got the alt right group, and they think the libbies are doing it to, and the libbies over here think that the alt right's doing it to them, and the Mgtows think that the Mgtows think that the anti-Mgtows are doing it to them, and then the anti-Mgtows think that the Mgtows are doing it to them, and that goes on and on. The crock pot cookers think the cast iron cookers are doing that to them, and they're demonetizing them, and they're causing trouble, and they're noticing everybody getting kicked off. And this isn't new to any group out there. The anti-relationship people and the relationship people are blaming it on each other, and it's causing quite a stir. And everybody thinks it's the other person, and it's the Sarkad of a cod roll. Sarkad calls all of his viewers idiots, and everybody thinks he's talking to the other guy. But it's encompassing the whole thing. He thinks everybody's an idiot, but but nobody thinks it's them. You know, it can't be my group. My group's perfect. You know, and no, it's broadly over. I was having this conversation with someone. No, it encompasses, this whole thing is encompassing every single person out there on YouTube, and everybody's been demonetized, and everybody we're all paying for it, and it's no longer and I think I seen this coming when there was employment questions asked by Trump as like, who are you employing here? And I go, well, I got a billion. We got a billion employees because anybody that's monetized is considered an employee, and a lot of the. I seen this thing coming when England started asking questions. Well, how are we supposed to regulate and pull taxes off of everybody that's uh, everybody that's an employee on YouTube? So all the countries got together, and that's why they were sued by the EU, because the EU wanted. They talk about ad revenues, and they made it look like this, and they made it look like this. But what the EU really wanted was taxes from all the people that were on YouTube and making 300-400 bucks. The governments are so greedy nowadays that they're worried about 300-400 bucks that somebody might make, so they could buy themselves an extra a couch or something, a vacuum cleaner, maybe keep up with their hardware or their computer while they're doing this and having fun, and the governments are so greedy that they figured out that's a lot of money. And if they can't have their cut, they would just end it. So that's why the EU sued, and then the EU sued Google, and then Google said, "Well, where are we going to get this money at?" And they said, "Well, YouTube." And then that became the whole deplatforming process of who are we going to get rid of first? Well, we'll get rid of the Nazis. Everybody hates Nazis. And we'll get rid of the alt right, and everybody hates the alt right. And then we're going to get rid of all this. What we're going to get is opinion based. And we got to get rid of all these opinion based things. That way we can open up for the people that are actually paying to advertise. And that would be the CNNs, pay pay the Tom Hartmans, and they make up these little companies. And if you follow them down the low road long, it's like, who's funding who, and it's usually the big telecom companies are funding all these little companies because they want to get their message out too. They want you to think like them, and whoever owns that big company, he's the billionaire, and he wants everybody to think like he thinks. From the Washington Post owner Murdoch, or is that Murdoch? I can't remember. Is that Murdoch to whoever owns Ted Turner and Turner Entertainment? I don't know if he's around anymore. Is Ted Turner around anymore? Hello. So who's all in there? There's Nino and Grunda Ghost. Mgtow is a mindset. Yeah, Mgtow is a Mgtow is a lot. But how long we'll be able to stay around here and compete with that will probably. I don't think it'll affect the Sandmans because he gives them advertising money. And well, I thought that's how that was working, but it's not really how it works. Because you figured all the people that they kicked off, that's millions and millions of views and millions of ads they could have been selling, and which doesn't make no sense. Everybody wants to sell you something. Every company wants to sell you like, the newest wrench. I thought that Mgtow would be a place where you like they would sell like stuff like the Robo wrench. It would be a great place to sell like robo wrenches and stuff because men do work and make tows, and I would probably buy one once in a while. I would just go, oh, I got to have the newest quality robo wrench because that's just cool. and that's how things work. But why they would give that up is only one reason why they would give that up, because somebody else told them to. I like tools. Yeah, I like tools. They should let us advertise tools and say, okay, you guys go find your own. What would be fair is like, go, okay, you guys go find your own advertising. Well, cool. Can we do that? Well, I'll become little salesmen for our groups, and we'll say, hey, we got a group of 2 million men that want to buy tools, and they'll go Sears or Sears Hardware. Sears Hardware is still open, I think, or Harbor Freight or somebody. I'm sure there's a lot of people but we just don't want to sell tools to soy boys. And they'll be like, cool, we don't want to sell tools to soy boys either. We want big tough men, to be holding a tool and like, I'm gonna wrench something, and Mgtow's a perfect place for that. And I don't think they're going to sell none of the relationship people. If they wanted to do their own marketing and advertising, they could sell chocolates and candies and flowers and metaphysical books to teach incels how to date. I had an interesting week watching it. Sometimes I just watch the incels. It's like I'm watching the incels. I'm wondering which one's going to get hit or which one's going to go Mgtow on the incels. Like, I found a girl. It's going to be like, F you, all you guys were wrong. And then come back like a while later, like, oh shit, that sucked. That sucked. Now I got a baby. The married men over there are interesting. The Charleses and because man, they're just they want all those incels to just keep breeding, just breed, make little ugly children, and take care of the girls. I think it's more gynocentric. Gynocentrism bothers me. I could spot it, and some of the rather liberal ones that I go and kind of watch once in a while, and them guys are gynocentric as hell. They have no idea what gynocentrism means. They don't. They're just like have the propensity, the err on the side of the female without even thinking about it. They just do it. And it's like, wow, you guys are a bunch of beggars. Wow, that's cool. I'll be here for you when you need me. And some of them will never admit that they need help with that. But we can't explain that. it's not, I don't expect it. I've been doing this like a while, and I just don't expect that they'll get it anymore. Uh, I really don't. Trying to explain that to a blue pill guy is like, man, I got buddies that I've been trying to explain that to, like why they shouldn't do certain things, and then they'll sit and spend 200-300 bucks buying drinks for the ladies, and then yeah, by the end of the week they're like, what did I do with all my money? I was like, well, you sat in a bar the other night and bought $200 worth of drinks. I mean, what do you think you did with your money? Idiot. And then, but no, man, but first thing they'll go is like, man, but she was really cool. I mean, she gave me her number, and then my one buddy did that. He spent 160 bucks on drinks, and I sat and watched him. I was eating a pizza and just having a beer that day, and he was like, "Joe, I got this." He was like pointing at it, going, "I got this." And then he came over like a couple of other days later, and I said, "Well, how much you spend?" He said 160 bucks, and he goes, "But I got her number." And then he called the number, and it wasn't a real number. I was so mad. I said, "You dick," and you're such a dick. And he was like, "Yeah, I got had." And the barmaid was in on it too. That's what kind of set me off, because I seen the barmaid. He was so drunk, the barmaid was stealing from him, and she didn't give him back his right change, because I was watching. He bought a beer, and he gave her like a 10, and she gave him like $4 back or something. He didn't even notice. He was so drunk, and I was like, "Hey, she just stole from you like $4." And she was doing that to him. Barmaids are crafty. You got to get, really, they are. You got enough drunks in there, and they don't really do a great job managing their money when they're on Friday nights and stuff like that, and they don't do a real good count. The married guys, they count everything, because they know their money is limited. They know they get 20 bucks to go out on a Friday night, and they have to be home by 8:30 ish, which I always thought was funny. It's like, damn, if you walk in at 11 o'clock, she is going to beat your ass. Yeah, I see my buddy get his ass whooped in front of his apartment. He just took it too. I was laughing at him. I dropped him off, and it was like 11 o'clock, and then she could say, "Oh, you're cheating on me." He's not. He's like, he's cheating on you with me. Oh man. But he got his ass beat. You get to see those things, and they're funny, and he was simping hard. It's like, baby, I love you so much. That was so funny. That was a funny day. And then I went and told everybody at the shop, watch, Jimmy got scratches on his face. Ask him why he's got scratches on his face. And women are pretty vicious, and they're as violent as men when they think you're doing something wrong. They are. I was reading the stats today about violence, and the MRA has been saying those stats, and any psychologist and any social study that has ever been done say, well, it's about equal violence. It's 50-50. I seen that today somewhere, so I started reading it, and yeah, it's just, you've seen it. Every one of your buddies has come in with a mark on his face, or a scratch, or something. It's like he started lying. Oh man, I cut myself with the garden hose. How'd you do that? Let's explain that. Didn't you come home drunk on Friday and she beat your ass? Son of a bitch. Oh man, I don't know how much longer I could do this on YouTube. I'm not a guy that just can't tell the truth, and for sooner or later they're just going to kick me off for telling the truth. It's like, you can't say that about the ladies. The ladies would never hurt a guy. The ladies would never punch a guy, because they're just angels. Just angels. No, the stats agree. They do it about 50% of the time. It's right up there. It's a stat. It doesn't lie. It comes from the FBI or something. Somebody, I suppose the Bureau of Justice puts out those stats. Yeah, because they have a vested interest to lie about those things. So I guess if you did know the truth, that would be freaky if they didn't lie about them. So I suppose if they were lying, that the stats would probably be more females commit violent acts against males than actually males commit against males. That would probably be more likely to be the truth, and then they've just been skimming and saying, no, it's 50-50, like they always do. It's like, it's 50-50. Take your chances. She might stab you in the middle of the night. I know my buddy got stabbed in the middle of the night by his girlfriend. He was screwing around on her, I think, and but that's not a reason to stab somebody. Uh, like I said, my wife gave me the best lesson of my life. She says, "It's none of your business what I do with my body," and I said, "Okay, it's none of your business what I do with mine." She didn't like that part, and that's from that moment on in life, I was like, it's none of nobody's business what I do with mine, and I became a Mgtow. It's like, don't ask, don't tell policies. Don't. It's like, it's none of your business. You ask me, and you might get one of these in your face because I ain't telling. Uh, is that sexual harassment? But it's okay to sexually. When Peter Lloyd was on that, well, you ever see that one with Peter Lloyd? He goes on that blonde girls. It's in Britain, and they were like. And they were so sexually harassing Peter Lloyd. And it's like, man, I would have sued that station. And as a MGTOW, I was like, don't let them do that to you either. It's like, what do you do with that? Now, if you asked a woman, if you were a male interviewer, and you asked, hey, what are you doing with that later? You would get sued. You would never be able to talk about the girls were like, yeah, Peter Lloyd don't have a girlfriend and he's not getting laid, and they're asking him questions about his sexuality, and I think, well, that's sexual harassment. That's the same thing that you're arguing about with me too, but you guys do it all the time to us. Hypocrisy in the world, freaking hypocrisy. Get on BitChute. I should get on BitChute. I got to do that. I may even have a BitChute. I have to click on it to see if I might have a BitChute account already. I just filled it out in a drunken haze one night and forgot or something, and Google has my password. Thank God for Google passwords because they'll have my password. That's funny. That's funny. Paul, women are. You guys talk like a bunch of Paul. You see, that's why your message isn't going to get seen because because YouTube picked up on that and they're already looking at you. BitChute, yeah. I wonder if that is. I don't know if I'm going to go on. I don't have the patience for that stuff anymore. I'm on the other one, VMO. That was the last one that was supposed to work. VMO. Is anybody over on VMO anymore? That's like what was the first social? I can't remember that first social media thing that was out. It's like VMO. We've been through half a dozen of those things, and nobody's got the backing of Google like YouTube does. That's the thing. Unless you got a browser that's a popular browser, the only person that really could compete with Google, I think, was YouTube. But Alyssa Myers just tore up not Yahoo. Alyssa Myers just tore up Yahoo. Yahoo could actually compete, and that's probably the direction. She didn't see that, so didn't see it. All she had to do, everybody had an account over at Yahoo, and you have your page, and in your page you could pop a video in there. If you give a video thing like this, all of a sudden you have YouTube with your videos with the vast audience and a browser, and that's all you really need. And they could have went with that really easy. It was just put a video editor in there, and that would have been so easy for Yahoo to do. But Alyssa Myers came over from Google. She actually came over from Google and sabotaged it. Nobody's seen that. Good job, Google. You sent a saboteur. That's the first thing I would have been looking at. Everybody was like, "Oh, she's a woman." That was there. She's expected to do that sort of stuff. And then the whole gender dynamics argument goes, and it takes you. It's like, look over here, why Google was sabotaging Yahoo. But I think they could pull it out of the mud. I wish they would, because I would invest in Yahoo if they put if they'd put a video editor up. Have a little sense about things, and everybody would move over there immediately because everybody likes Yahoo better, anyways, than Google. Google's a bunch of pricks, and Marissa was at Google, and she went to. So yeah, she was. She was the something at Google. I can't remember. If you look up in her you look up in her resume on Wikipedia. No, thanks, Granda Ghost. Yeah, Alice Meyer worked for Google. Then she came over to Yahoo, and then she destroyed Yahoo. It's like, good job. That wasn't an inside hack job. Talk about mercenary. Talk about agents of internet destruction. Alyssa Myers was the queen of that. I don't know if she's still working over there too either. But it was all about corporate sabotage and two companies battling it out to see who was going to be the biggest browser. And Google won that fight. I think they should break Google up. Really, I do. That would be so cool to watch if the United States government, broke Google up. Google would be, well, we'll move out, and they would go ahead. We'll just block you coming in then. And everybody knows that 70% of your views will come from within the United States, and we can hardly get any views from outside in the Ukraine anymore because they sued Google already. So you're not going to get those views, and Britain's blocking everything because they think they have the right, because they're totalitarian. They have a queen. They do. They have a queen still. That's fucking outrageous. They do. And they're just blocking and censoring everything going in and out. They're going to be their little mini economy, they think, like they used to be. It's just a little tiny country, It's like they're going to be the big guy on the street like they used to be. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think China's going to have it. I don't think China's going to have it. Yeah. But that's okay. They can think whatever they want. Brexit is fun to watch. They do some fun shit in there, and they're the way they talk to each other in their Congress or whatever that is. I don't know what you call it over there, the Parliament. It's just funny sometimes because they do some crazy shit. They are ruthless. I don't understand the rules either, so hey, I don't have to. I'm not voting there, and they're never going to give me a vote. And hence, most people that I run into on YouTube, they don't have a vote in the United States. I don't even see why. I was watching one of those alt-right groups the other day, and I just laugh at their opinions about the economy. But there was two English guys and an Australian guy arguing about American politics and how great Trump was. And I says, you guys don't get a vote. I mean, why don't you talk about your prospective economies and see what you can do in your own country? But they'd rather talk about Trump like it's going to make a difference, and it's like, that is so silly. I thought that was so silly about Sarkhan of Akkad had opinions on American politics, and he's from Great Britain. Like, you don't get a vote. Nobody ever said you could have a vote. That's like, you're just going to influence. You're an influence. You're a social influencer. You're so good at that. Social influencers. That's the new thing with Instagram and stuff. I was talking to a young lady in the convenience the other day. I noticed an Instagram for this on sticker on the back of her car, and she says, "Oh, it's my brother's car." And I says, "Well, what's the thing with what's the dealio with the big sticker on there?" And she says that he gets $60 a month they advertise for an Instagram influencer. It's like so there's rich kids out there that they just want to be influencers, and that's what they dream about. And Generation Z, is it now? It's XYZ. And it's like to be a Instagram influencer, the most beautiful person on Instagram. Which I just think is silly because I'm old. Why would I not think that's silly? So who's in Andrew Forrest Trap? Hey, Andrew. Hey, Trav. Yeah, you got the F in there. Traversable. Do do not move to California soon. They won't let you. They won't let you leave. If you move to California, you got to stay, and you get chains. It's like they're just going to make you a tax slave. That's what they're going to need out there too. Is just tax slaves. They're going to need like strong back tax slaves, and that'll be. Guess who that'll be? Yeah, men. Men. It'll be men. You know that. Who? But they're not going to let you leave. Oh man, it's so screwed up out there. I can't even hardly. I don't watch anymore a lot. I try not to watch. I try to look at it in a very you know, intellectual way where I just study what they're doing. I just try to dissect the linguistics of it and form an opinion. And it's just craziness, absolute craziness on the interneting thing lately. But yeah, deplatforming is a big issue, but that's just them going like, look over here. It's the crackpot cookers are doing it to you. The crackpot cookers, they hate the slow cookers people, and really it's just Google cutting costs. They can't take it no more. Which we knew it was going to come sooner or later. They want to become a cable company. They want to become one of the big. We'll have a big seven when you include YouTube into that. You'll have a big seven in America of the big internet providers, and I'm sure they'll want to get in on the actual cable services pretty soon. As soon as people buy that, I haven't bought the YouTube package, but eventually that will be. You have to buy the YouTube package if you want to be a producer. And what they're saying is, you got to buy. It's like a sales company going. You got to buy all the stock if you want to be a salesman. And you got to buy all this other stuff. You got to buy a sleeping bag, and a lot of stuff. There were predatory sales programs back in the. I don't know if you guys remember the back in the 80s where we had predatory salespeople that were out there. Just you could be a salesman for this company and you sell this product, but you got to buy so many of them. And usually the product didn't sell anything like they said it would. I think that was a candlelight and stuff like that. It was sort of like that Tupperware. It's sort of like the Tupperware of the real world. And they were selling all sorts of things from clothing to purses and stuff like that. That's what YouTube is becoming. That predatory sales thing. And it's creepy, and it's destined for failure and a big crash. It's destined for failure. It is. It's just going to be a big crash, or the United States government is just going to get so like, we got to sue them on and just break this thing up because they're becoming Ma Bell of predatory lending. Multi-level marketing. Yeah, Johnny Five, multi-level market. Is that what they call it? I used to know the whole spiel there for what those predatory sales groups were, but I've long forgotten. I've forgotten most of the stuff I ever learned in my life. Give it time, you'll forget too. Multi-level quackery. Yeah, I like that word, quackery. Shenaniganism. They're just doing shenanigans. So I truly expect that someday I'll look up and Google or YouTube will just be like suffering gravely because they were such jackasses, and they'll realize at that point it's like the Alyssa Myers. It's like the Alyssa Myers thing when they realized that their company was only worth $20 million or something, $20 billion, and they're like, it was at like a 3.4 billion dollars, and now it's worth 20 million. It's like, damn. When did you realize that was happening? That's what I would, if I was sitting back and questioning, if I was somebody in Congress and I was questioning, I'd be like, at what point did you realize that you had lost over 99% of your, she just screwed up the company so bad? Please tell me at what point you realized that. Because it was obvious to everybody else. Christ. How stupid do you have to be? And that's what's going to happen to YouTube too. I think YouTube will just realize that their biggest resource they just kicked off of YouTube, and that was all the shenanigans and the hooliganism and the fun and the drama and one group arguing with another group and everybody like kind of doing their own kind of news. And if you believed what they were saying, then you were an ass. Everybody just kind of knew that. Like if you believed in lizard people, you're just an ass. Really, because there ain't. But it makes for an interesting storyline. It's like, is Donald Trump a lizard person? Does he have those eyes that reflect? It's like, because that used to be great. Because in somewhere deep down in all of our hearts and our souls, we knew that it was just bullshit. But and that's with most of the stuff around YouTube, but they're taking it way too seriously now. They think that it's influencing everything, and it may be people got just too stupid to realize that lizard people weren't real. In Mel's hole, there weren't. It used to be great to think about like lizard people are crawling out of Mel's hole, but everybody knew that was fantasy fiction, and not anymore. They think, are there real lizards? I could just see some old lady or some young kids going, are there really lizard people? No, no, it was like the Onion. You were supposed to just know that it wasn't real. And even the Onion, too. Remember the Onion? I think the Onion's still out there. And they're like, they make bizarre stories up out of pure fantasy fiction and they float them out there. And everybody just, the first time you got hit by it, it was just funny. It's like, there's something off about these. Oh, they're just being funny. They're just making up stories as they're going. And then it was like, you read them and you're like, oh, that's funny. And that's funny. And, but at some point, everybody's like, Hillary Clinton is running uh, she's running a group of people out there that have this influence over all the world, and it's Hillary Clinton that's doing that. And that would be an Onion story back in the day, because everybody know that can't possibly be true because Hillary Clinton is just too stupid to do that. but, but somehow her and George Soros is doing that. And I was like, oh man, some of the conspiracy theories that I see out there is just like bizarre. You really think that? Is there anybody in here that thinks that Hillary Clinton is running a cabal that's taking over the world? Because I'm laughing at them now. I mean, I'm just laughing. She's not. And George Soros she's just do you realize that George Soros is worth $32 billion and he gave away $64 billion? I mean, that's just a nice guy. When I hear the George Soros stories, like, yeah, that guy gave away $64 billion to poor people. He's not that bad of a guy. But he gave away like $100 to a feminist. So that made him a bad guy, and he was funding Hillary Clinton. No, that stuff is garbage. Lizard people are not real. Yetis are not real. I've never seen a Yeti, and Bigfoot's not real. But it's fun to believe that stuff when you're new and you're a kid, and it's fun to go through the whole gambit of conspiracy. But somewhere along the line, people started believing all that stuff, and it became it had to be stopped. I guess that what they say, now this has to be stopped because people are actually, the pizza shop thing with somebody went and killed somebody. There are repercussions. There is people that stupid in the world that believe that like people from the administration were calling down and ordering up like children to be delivered to the White House for pedophilia. Like I was just laughing, like, you morons. And then some guy actually believed it and killed people. It was like, oh God, this the stupidity of the world that I live in. But then again, I look over the Mgtow and then Alex Brown. Alex Brown was actually he was actually tried, convicted, and accused, tried, convicted of trying to stalk a little girl in a park. And then Steve Hoka's making a video this week saying he never did that. It's like, but you guys will believe Hillary Clinton was running a cabal of pedophiles through a pizza shop. And you won't believe that the real pedophile are really good at they're really good at one thing. They're really good at cloaking their behavior on the internet. Oh, and they're just weird little children, and they're just weird adults. And if you looked at if you're one of these people that looked at, what was that Subway guy? What was it, Jared, the Subway guy? Now, the first time I seen that guy, I was like, that guy, there's something wrong with that guy. I think he's a pedophile. And then damnedest thing, a few years ago, it was like, oh man, my radar, the sense pedophiles was up on that one, and I said, couldn't you just look at him and tell? Could you just see that that's what he was? I mean, nobody could see that. There's some evil in those people. I don't get it. But Messenger Rising was yelling for years that there was something wrong with Alex Brown. There was something wrong with him. The kid don't act right. He was talking about raping little girls. He was talking about, and and people still won't believe. It's like, oh man, even though he's been tried, convicted, they took his laptop away. And then Steve's putting the video back up that he made in 2016. And there's people on there going, I just believe Alex Brown was a nice guy. No, he wasn't. He was a little rapist of kids. And Steve still believes that. And them are the same people that we're talking about, the people that are too stupid to know that lizard people don't exist. And but it's like Confucius said. Confucius said that some people can't see, their own faults. Some people can see the faults of others as small as a mustard seed, but they can't see the faults in themselves as big as a mountain. And they'll believe what they want to believe. And if they like somebody, if they like some bear cartoon on the internet and everything, even though it is a pedo bear, they'll support them right to the end. And that's what we had with them people. But you can't change their mind about that. And that's the sad part. Them are the same people that would vote for Sarah Palin, for president. And there was a contingent that would have voted for the stupidest person on the face of the earth to be president. And they did. Or the most greedy person on the face of the earth for president. And they did it again. And Democracy is wonderful because stupid people get the vote. And that's always going to be the way it is. And did you have a vibe about it? Yeah, I had a vibe about that cat, that Jared cat. I looked at him and I was like, I don't think I'm going to eat Subway sandwiches because that guy looks like he wants to rape me. He did. He just looked like if you like, he could have been the poster child for pedophile. And Jimmy Savile too. Savile. It's like he could have been the poster child for pedophile, but nobody's seen it. Everybody in the soul said, that guy. There's something creepy about that guy. But he walked back and forth from the dude. Cat walked back and forth every day to get a Subway sandwich and lost like 240 pounds. How can you hate him, Joe? Is that what America's become? Oh man, who is it? The guy with the salad shooter too. He used to crack me up. Richard Simmons. God, that guy used to crack me up. Can you see something was wrong with that guy? I don't know what his crime to humanity was, or if he got caught yet. But I'm sure there was something wrong with a guy dancing with tights on with a perm, and just there was just something wrong with that. I'm telling you, a salad shooter. Wow. One of my favorite hilarious onion videos were, oh, are you gonna put up? I'll let that go. It's my favorite hilarious onion. I used to like to watch the onion because you might have got like their first time there at the onion. You were like, there's, like, man, this is like, what's going on here? And you're like this is a volcano in Los Angeles and this, and you go, oh, they're trying to make it like that. But there's some people that I think they clamped down on that the day, like a governor or something. He was like went to the Onion and got a story on Hillary Clinton, and they said no, the Onion made that up. No, and then they still believe it today. Like she's running a cabal of cabal of evil people that are raping children. It's like, no, they're not. Jesus Christ. But it takes all kinds. It takes all kinds. Lizard people are real. It's fun to believe in vampires. I've seen kids, they believe in vampires. They even group up and have their little vampire groups and try to get abducted by vampires. And it's like, it's so harmful. It's like you guys still believe in Santa Claus too? I mean, every little kid needs his dreams crushed at some point, and that's why they made up Santa Claus. So he gets about 10 years old, and then you're a parent and you get to crush his dreams and tell him there's no such thing as Santa Claus. And that brings him into reality. And he's like, nowadays, he's like, but Jesus is like that too. And then the parents go, no, Jesus is totally real. He's our imaginary friend. I so there are a lot of people that still believe in Santa Claus, I suppose, and that's a great thought. We fooled you, you noob. Yeah, you tell a little kid, yeah, you're such a little dork. We fooled you. Santa Claus isn't real, but Jesus is. That's the next Santa Claus. You progress as you grow, I guess, in that world of Christianity, that weird world of Christianity. You progress as you grow. You get better gods. This one gives you money if you pray to him. And that's what heaven is, a place where everybody's got more money than everybody else. At least Christian heaven. Oh my. Red pill, the power of truth and awareness. Yeah, the red pill, truth and awareness. Now I don't hate the Christians and everything, and I would never ask that someone take the Jesus away from a guy that's been in war and he's seen hell and he believes that something's going to redeem his soul, and I would want to take that away from him. Just go for it, believe what you want to believe, but I don't have to. Oh, my stomach is. Ooh. I ate a salad today. My carb. Now my stomach is all upset, and my carbs. I'm trying to reduce my carbs for the summer, so I'm drinking Diet Coke. Diet Coke, and it really sucks bad. It doesn't taste like regular Coke, and it's not a beer. Maybe Coca-Cola sponsor me. Jeez. It'd be better than Jared, the pedophile. Uh, I shouldn't say that stuff, but I do. Truth is something you can already see it. So, basically, I just wanted to come around today and say hello, and that was the reason why I came around. And say I'm still doing okay. My knee's screwed up. Dougie's outside, and he's still dying slowly, real slowly, and everything's wonderful. Not really, but I just wanted to come along and say hello to all my YouTube friends and say Mgtow really is the way to go. We just don't buy into the predation of the disposable male and some of the silliness and all the garbage that the Christians and all them people and the religious people want to serve you up. And there's a lot of silly things going on in the world. Was it a false flag? Another false flag on the shipping industry through the straits there. Yeah, that'll be the next war we have. But your kids get to go because the governor's kid's not going to go, and Mr. Bourne Spurs' children, they're not going to go fight. They're too rich to fight. You can buy your way out of that thing, and as long as it's just the poor kids dying, that's okay because you're disposable. And as long as it's just men, you're disposable. And the world will continue preying on you until the day you realize that there is no Santa Claus. And that was my, and that's my, video for today. And I know that was a long way around, but hey, that's the way I am. Yeah. I didn't realize I was more disposable than the Jeep. They would have rather kept the Jeep than me. Non-expendable. The Jeep was non-expendable. I was expendable. So I'm gonna get going. I gotta go get Dougie out and bring him back in. He's out. I gotta bring him back in. Wipe him down. He's probably wet, and my stomach is just gurgling from the salad I ate because I should never put salad in my body. But I'm trying to cut down on my carbs so my knee heals up. And hopefully that'll happen so I can get out and ride my bike. I want to ride my bike so badly, but it figures summer comes and then I hurt my knee, and I just want to get out and ride my bike. I want to ride my bicycle and I miss the Jeep too. I miss the Jeep. The Jeep was fun. The Jeep was a good vehicle. I was looking at one the other day. I was going to trade my truck in and go get a Jeep because the Jeep is a fun vehicle. And all men should own a Jeep, and all MGTOWs should own a Jeep with the tire on the top. You don't put the tire on the back, you put the tire on the top. You know why? Because you're freaking MGTOW. And that's about it. You put the tire up there, you're freaking Mgtow, and that's what this thing's all about. You're unique and different, and you can see a lot of the bullshit. You don't believe in Santa Claus anymore, and you know what they want from you. They want your money, and that's all they ever wanted was your money. And once you realize that in life, you'll be a lot safer. But with that, I'm going to get going, and thanks a lot for coming around, man, and listening to my rambling on. And Don't believe in those conspiracy theories, and pizza guys aren't delivering little children, and there's no such thing as lizard people, and Hillary Clinton's not running a cabal that's ruining the world, and that's all bullshit. Uh, stay sane. Yeah, that's a good one. Stay sane, please. Because I need people to talk to. There's not too many sane people in this world. I have people trying to tell that to me on the street. I just know I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear that conspiracy theory stuff. But it just so happens that's the reason they're getting kicked off of YouTube now, is when they spread conspiracy theories that hurt people, because there are stupid people in this world, and stupid people do stupid things. And Mgtow's not one of those groups. Go read a book. I don't know. But most of all, thanks, Ron, for coming around and being Mgtow, because otherwise I'd be here all alone just thinking, wow, is there anybody else like me in this world? Uh, uh, and that's all there is. It's just a brotherhood, and we hang around together, and hopefully it's good for you because it's good for me. And thanks a lot for coming around, and thanks a lot most of all. Thanks for being Mgtow. Mgtow.